with Hugo de Wilde, the winner of the first race of the year at Monza. The son of Belgian journalist and PR man Olivier de Wilde lining up alongside. So the grid formed, and at the rear of it, Lorenzo Lorandi. At the front of it is, Leonardo Lorandi. At the front of it is Lorenzo Colombo. Leonardo Lorandi, the younger brother of Alessio Lorandi, former Formula 3 racer, winner of the Pau Grand Prix. But there is Lorenzo Colombo in the MP Motorsport car, the Sander Dorschmann run team. Oscar Piastri for R-Race GP. And that car, if it makes a good start, could just hang on to a race lead, could become a race winner. Let's see. So the grid being cleared at the 1 minute board, engines will fire up, and then we'll get this second race of the weekend for the Formula Renault Eurocup single-seaters underway. It starts with the run down towards the left-right sequence, turns 1 and 2, where you're braking from top gear down to fourth, flick left and then right, and then down towards the turn 3 right-hander. Let's have a walk up the grid though, first of all, before we look at the lap. Lorenzo Colombo starting on pole position, and Oscar Piastri lining up with him at the front. 1 win for Colombo and 2 so far this year for Piastri. Then the red, white and blue SMP racing colours, ever so distinctive nowadays in modern motor racing, of Alexander Svalia. He lines up third on the grid, and fourth is the young Frenchman Victor Martins for the MP Motorsport team, same squad that operates Colombo's car. There it is, in the, as I say, very Renault colours of the Academy Sport driver. Then you've got Kushmaini driving for M2 Competition, and Petr Potacek for Bytec, number 53, lining up 6th on the grid. 7th is another of those cars in the colours of Renault for Caio Collet, Renault Sport Academy driver, and Hugo de Wilde's distinctive pink and blue car lining up 8th on the grid, winner of the opening round, but he's not really shown the same pace since then. 9th on the grid is going to be Amaury Cordil, who crashed out at turn 1 with Potacek yesterday, and Xavier Loeras next on the grid there for GRS in the green and grey livery. 11th is where you find Sebastian Fernandez taking a step from Formula 3 to Formula Renault for this year, and lining up with him is João Vieira, who put up some great defence at Monaco a week ago on the streets supporting the Grand Prix. On the 7th row, there is Frank Bird, the British driver, the only Brit on the grid, in fact, and Brad Benavides for the FA Racing by DriveX squad there up against the pit wall, the FA of that team being Fernando Alonso. The next Arden car you see there is Patrick Pasma, and up against the pit wall, Patrick Schott, another of the FA Racing by DriveX drivers. He's ahead of Bytec's Federico Malvestiti, and then you get, to the Bytec car of Malvestiti and Lucas Aleco-Roy, who will go from 18th on the grid. The 10th row, Alessio De Leda, and then it is Callan O'Keefe, a long way back. Callan, he's a pretty quick driver, the South African, and then now he's got all 4 wheels back on the car, so Leonardo Lorandi will complete the grid. So with the end of the Mistral Straight generating 226 kilometres an hour in one of these cars, bearing in mind that's after the chicane, it's going to be a fast pace, that's for certain. Yesterday, with a safety car period, we had 15 laps, and the car's now released by race director Thomas Zetner. Everybody accelerates away down towards the left-right of turns 1 and 2, weaving around to get the warmth in the Hankook tyre. A real change with, for so many years, Michelin being the tyre supplier, but Hankook absolutely over the moon to have won the contract to supply the cars this year, and big effort being put in by Hankook to maximise that. So the Hankook rubber being brought up to temperature as the cars then swing through the left-hand into corner at turn 1, with there at the rear of the field the JD Motorsport car of Leonardo Lorandi. Cars then now turn down through turn 6, that's Saint-Baume, and that in turn will bring them onto the Mistral Straight. So as the car of pole man, Lorenzo Colombo, weaves around, tries to generate the warmth in the rubber. Let's see whether or not it's going to be as dominant as it was yesterday. It's a really impressive drive by Lorenzo Colombo yesterday, made the bolt early on. So very quick carter. Lorenzo Colombo moved into Euro Formula Open as well as Italian Formula 4. He's raced in Formula Renault both Eurocup and the ailing NEC last year. About 6th in the championship with 5 podium finishes, but now he's become a race winner for the first time. He quite liked the taste of that winner's champagne yesterday, I think, and he's aiming for more this weekend. Number 1 of Oscar Piastri, the Australian driver. It's pretty hard for Australians to find the budget to come and race on the other side of the world, especially in single-seaters that people just can't really relate to compared to big touring cars where all the attention is back home. But the likes of Will Power, Will Davison, before that Mark Webber, a long time ago Alan Jones, more recently Daniel Ricciardo, they've all had a go at doing it, and it does work. And Oscar Piastri, the latest of those drivers to come across and try his hand at single-seater racing. He was 8th in the championship last year, runner-up in British Formula 4 2 years ago, 3rd on the grid. Alexander Smolja, who is another man in his 2nd season, 12th he was in this championship last year, having raced in the North European zone Formula 4 and the Spanish Formula 4 championships as well. And then to complete the top 4 on the grid is number 11, which is Victor Martins. So the former gymnast turned racing driver, part of the Renault Sport Academy, and indeed the championship leader. 1 win to his name, but a win at Monaco. Pretty decent place to win, that's for sure. Let's see what he can do here. This very different permanent circuit at Le Castellet. So the last few cars coming out of the Virage du Lac. Over the grid, planes taking off from the neighbouring airport, with the gentlemen racers in Blancpain Sports Club finished and getting their private jets home, and many of the Blancpain GT teams also with aviation at their disposal. So Paul Ricard is emptying, as this is the last race of what's been a busy weekend for everybody here. And up to the grid, slotting into place, Callan O'Keefe. With him at the very, very back will be Leonardo Lorandi. And as soon as everybody is in place, we'll get the green flag to say that we are good to go. And then this 8th race of the season for the Formula Renault Eurocup will be underway. Hugo de Wilde, Alexander Smolja, Oscar Piastri, 3 different winners in the first 3 races. Piastri was the first one to do the double. Then we had a first win from Martins, a double, or a second win from Smolja in the 2nd Monaco race, and a new winner in Lorenzo Colombo yesterday. Lights out, away they go, and a dreadful start by Piastri. He staggers away, another one slow away, looks like Petra Patacek. Hugo de Wilde was badly delayed in all of that, and like yesterday, it was a quick change from red to the lights out, and that caught out many. So Piastri, a woeful start that has cost him dear as they go in towards turn 1. Hugo de Wilde, I think, has just about got away with it, but he was also slightly impeded as the cars then now come down towards turn 3 for the first time. But the race leader is Lorenzo Colombo, and he's trying to make good his escape. Smolja running in 2nd place, and then 3rd and 4th, Martins and Collett as they wriggle down towards turn 5 for the first time. So Oscar Piastri, if he was aiming to launch the car and try and gain places, he's now got a real job on his hands. Out wide he goes, back onto the road as the cars go through Saint-Baume for the first time. And has Piastri got damage in all of that, because the car didn't seem to want to turn there, so it could all have unravelled for the Australian. Let's see, up towards the chicane they come. Lorenzo Colombo leads the way. 2nd is Alexander Smolja in 3rd place. The first of the Renault Sport Academy cars, that in the hands of Victor Martins. Through they turn. Martins crawling all over the back of Smolja, looking for a way by. Can he do it? He gets up the inside coming out of the chicane. That's the outside line now into senior. Behind them in 4th place is Caio Collet. And then everybody else in a line for 5th place. Kushmini just keeping at bay Hugo de Wilde as they came into the braking zone. Smolja on the inside line, fending off Martins as they go up through senior. To the inside line comes Collet, but he's chopped by Martins, who swings from one side of the road to the other. In now to Toulon, through the right-hander they go. So the leader getting away, but it's game on for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all in a queue. Smolja, Martins, Collet, then a sideways Miney, and Hugo de Wilde 6th as they come into Bendor for the first time. The race leader is Lorenzo Colombo on the first lap, trying to get away. There, 2nd is Smolja, then the SMP racing car, and behind him, Victor Martins, trying to be the best of those in the Renault Academy into Nissan contest. Up towards the Virage du Pont, end of lap number 1, they will turn, and Lorenzo Colombo trying to make good his escape as they come up towards the timing line then. Look at the gap he's pulled already at the end of lap 1. Over the line he goes. Smolja is 2nd, 3rd is Martins, 4th is Caio Collet, 5th Kushmini, 6th Hugo de Wilde. Nose to tail, and then side by side there. Collet with the green mirrors goes to the outside line, but he can't do it. Victor Martins just hangs on to his place. 7th is Fernandez, 8th is Frank Bird, 9th is Amaury Cordil. In 10th place at the end of lap 1, Xavier Loreras. And there, look, Victor Martins keeping Collet at bay, or is he? Because wheel to wheel they run, they're in different teams. It's every man for himself here. Right up with them is Kushmaini, and then Ugo de Wilde trying to fight back. Martin's all sideways down at turn 5. Patrick Pasma is at the back of the field. Oscar Piastri is in 18th, so after that bad start, he's a long, long way down and desperately trying to make up places now. The danger is all the gaps open up before he can make much progress. Along the Mistral straight they come then, and the leaders getting away because Martin's defending from Collet, who in turn has got Kushmaini behind him. Then De Wilde and Sebastian Fernandez go side by side on the outside line. It's Fernandez. Is he going to go through? Not there. He's not. Ugo de Wilde fends him off, but all of this jousting means they're delaying each other, and the two that have escaped, Colombo and Smoljar, building the gaps. So you can see what the margin is between them, but Smoljar second is getting clear now of Victor Martins in third place. Caio Collet fourth, Kushmaini fifth, sixth Ugo de Wilde. Through Signes they come. Replay of the start. So bad getaway, very bad getaway by Oscar Piastri, and the other one that was also very badly delayed was, by the look of it, Petr Potacek. So the yellow flags flutter, thankfully contact avoided, but Oscar Piastri's car completely bogged down. There it is from another angle, so the lights change. Piastri goes hardly anywhere, but eventually staggers away with a couple of rows further back. Petr Potacek also slow away. He's actually gained ground on the first lap, Potacek, so although he's lost from his grid position, he's no longer last. He has been able to nick a few spots back on the opening lap of the race. 2 laps are in the book now as the leader goes by. 30 minutes plus 1 lap is the duration, and Lorenzo Colombo is that leads the way from Smoljar in second place. Victor Martins third, Caio Collet, Kushmaini, Ugo de Wilde rounding out the top 6. And the lead gap 2.5 seconds. Fastest lap to Lorenzo Colombo. There, round the outside, into turn 1, the FA Racing twins battling busily. Patrick Schott, Brad Benavides, and getting in on the act as well now, Leonardo Lorandi. So Lorandi in the white and blue car makes it 3 wide, down towards turn 3. I have a horrible feeling this might not work. They all scramble into the corner. Amazingly, they survive it. And it is 61 then. Brad Benavides keeping teammate Patrick Schott at bay. Lorandi tries to get between them, but he does so on the inside heading into turn 6 now. Lorandi gains a place. That puts him 13th from the back of the grid. Leonardo Lorandi goes through on the inside line, picks up the place as race leader Lorenzo Colombo turns into the chicane. Now behind him is Alexander Smoljar. The gap's 2.5 seconds at the start of this lap. Smoljar just fractionally quicker in the first sector. Battle on lower down. Ugo de Wilde there losing out to Sebastian Fernandez, so that's a change for 6th place. Ugo de Wilde looked really good at Monza at the start of the season in race 1. He crashed out of race 2, admittedly in the wet, but he's just never really looked as convincing since, and again losing places here is not going to help his quest. So out of Signes goes Sebastian Fernandez. Frank Bird is behind him. Amaury Cordil, number 18, also looking to try to gain ground as they go through Toulon. Frank Bird, British driver, whose dad a regular rallier and superbike team owner, but Frank has gone the car racing route, and from Ginetta Juniors into single-seater racing. F4 and then Formula Renault. There, number 28, Javiera, running in 11th place at the start of this lap as the cars come up towards the Virage du Pont once more to put 3 laps in the book. As far as the lead battle is concerned, Smoljar a little bit quicker than Lorenzo Colombo in the first sector and a bit slower in the second. So as they come over the line, the margin between them is now 2.6 seconds. Fastest lap done by Victor Martins in 3rd place. Martins' look has shaken off the challenge from behind, that of Caio Collet. Kushmaini is closing on him in 5th, and Sebastian Fernandez 6th as they come into turn 1. So the race leaders onto lap number 4, fastest lap by Martins, but there is Lorenzo Colombo doing exactly what he did yesterday, pushing hard early on, trying to break the gap to the opposition, and then he's got something to consolidate for the remainder of the race. He's on now to the Mistral straight, and as he accelerates towards the chicane, Alexander Smoljar doing the chasing in 2nd place is 2.6 seconds back. Victor Martins is 3rd. Now Martins quicker than anybody in sector 1. He's inching up onto the tail of Smoljar for 2nd place. The gap's 1.2 seconds. Because of the length of the straights around here, you can slipstream, so Martins hunting down the Russian driver ahead of him and trying to therefore get himself into a position where he can make a move. Onto the Mistral straight they come, side by side in the background, coming into the chicane. Look, that's what's going on, I think, behind Lorandi. Off the road goes, who was that? Malvestiti, possibly. Callan O'Keefe he was battling with. So Federico Malvestiti skips the chicane, might have to give that place back. It would be advisable. Oscar Piastri up into 14th place now in his recovery. Trying to get himself into the points. The cars turn through Toulon. But another win here would be very good news for Lorenzo Colombo in the championship. A real turning point of his season. He was on pole at Monza for the first race, spun at the first corner, which again in part gifted honours to Hugo de Wilde. But as the cars come towards the Virage du Lac for the 4th time, Lorenzo Colombo looking like the real deal this weekend. Caio Collet being caught by Cushmaini. The gap down a little bit between them as they turn right now through the Virage du Pont and onto the pit straight once again. There is Martins going over the line. Fastest lap of the race once again, in fact, to Victor Martins. So pushing, and he's now 9/10 back from Smalia, so he is closing, no question about it. In the background, Javiera comes up onto the tail there of Xavier Oliveras as they go into turn 1. But for the moment, Vieira just a little bit too far back to think about making a challenge. Car number 3, Alexander Smolyar, comes now out of the right-hander down at the Virage du Camp. And now as he runs wide at Saint-Baume, Victor Martins is right on his tail. He tries to get the tighter line onto the Mistral straight. Now he's in the slipstream. The move should come up towards the chicane. Smolyar goes to the opposite side of the road to try to break the toe. Victor Martins comes up alongside him. This isn't quite what he planned, but he's going to have a go anyway. Outside for the first part of the chicane. Could be the inside for the second. Is there the room for them? No, there's not. So Smolyar hangs onto the place. Martins crawling all over the back of him, tries to tighten the line. He'll have another go, no doubt, coming up towards Signes, so he's in the wheel tracks. Can he use the slipstream to good effect here as they make the run towards that fast right? Look in the background, Caio Collet being attacked now by Cushmaini. They are nose to tail, and to the inside line looks Martins, trying to unsettle Smolyar, can't do it. Through they turn, up towards now Toulon. Behind, Caio Collet is still keeping Cushmaini at bay, and all of this playing into the hands of the race leader, because right now Lorenzo Colombo is storming away. Through they turn, 2.7 seconds being the margin between first and second last time. And there is Cushmaini going through in currently 5th place, clear of Sebastian Fernandez. Oscar Piastri, another place gained last time, 13th he is. So recovering well as into the Virage du Pont comes number 3 then. So Alexander Smolyar with Victor Martins right up behind him. Victor Martins pushes on as over the line goes the leader. Lorenzo Colombo puts another lap in the book and is now 4.5 seconds clear, and Colombo has also just done the fastest lap of the race, so getting further and further away here. Leaders turn through. There you've got Smolyar with Martins half a second back. Fastest lap now done by Piastri. Oscar Piastri running down in 13th place, possibly benefiting from a tow, and an incident involving number 51 under investigation, 51 being Federico Malvestiti. That, I think, was when he went off the road and didn't give back his place, leaving the track and gained advantage at turn 11. Well, turn 11 is Toulon, in fact, so it wasn't the chicane, but it's still Malvestiti that's going to be looked at. Race leaders onto Mistral straight, lap 6 we're on. There's Colombo, who's almost in the next round of the championship, but behind it is Smolyar and Martins still fighting amongst themselves. Getting a replay here of Malvestiti going off the road at the chicane. Now that's the one that was in my mind, but that's not turn 11, which is what's being cited on the timing screen. But look, he stays ahead of Callan O'Keefe. In fact, increases the margin, doesn't think about giving the place back. So that's being looked at, no doubt, by the officials. As through goes 11, Victor Martins. And car 51, no action after investigation. So Malvestiti is good in his 14th place now, staying ahead of Callan O'Keefe, therefore. Victor Martins chases on in pursuit of Alexander Smolyar, closing as best he can, but with the fastest lap of the race done by Piastri, down in 13th place. Martins crawling all over the back of Smolyar into the approach to Virage du Lac. This time we're on lap number 6. Just under 18 minutes to go, plus the regulation lap that goes on at the end. Martins there looking good across all the sectors, but is he good enough to make a run now down towards turn 1? Out of the Virage du Pont they come up through the gears, over the timing line once again. Leaders go through. There in 4th place is Collet, 5th is Maini, 6th is Fernandez, 7th is de Wilde, 8th is Bird, 9th is Cordial, 10th Xavier Loreras, 11th is Vieira, 12th up from the back of the grid Lorandi. There is Oscar Piastri in 13th place, then the quickest man last time through, but not anymore, because Lorenzo Colombo has now done another fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 1. So as the fuel load lightens and the tyres get warmer, so the lap times come down. 17 minutes to go, and Leonardo Lorandi up from the back of the grid. 12th he started, crawling all over the back of racing returnee João Vieira, who's had a couple of years away trying to find the budget again. There's Smollier and Martins. Even though Victor has done the catching, he cannot find a way through, and he's got to within that half a second and then get stuck in the dirty air. Victor Martins again tries to force a little mistake out of Smollier. He's inching up onto the back of him towards the chicane. Brakes hard, brakes late, but doesn't want to brake too hard so that he goes deep into the corner and wastes the momentum, which he'll need the other side of the chicane here in order to try to line up to have a go in towards Senior. The race leader, Lorenzo Colombo, is just way clear up front. And is that a bit of bodywork that's come off a car in the background? Was that a nose cone that's just slithered its way back onto the circuit in front of all the cones? Look in the background, you'll see what I mean. Whose car has that dropped off, if anybody's? Let's try and have another look. Off the road bounces. Is that Frank Bird's Arden car? Battling with Amaury Cordial. It could have been off that, but bodywork has come. And that's Kush Miney, is it not, who's off the road? So the Indian driver missing a nose cone. I think it's that car, therefore, that shed the bodywork. So Kush Miney, without the nose, is heading for the pit lane. They'll have to do something about that because the aero will be all compromised. The Smollier keeps Martins at bay, but only just up towards the line. Lorenzo Colombo goes through, miles clear of anybody else, but here in second and third places, Alexander Smollier fending off the challenge of Victor Martins once again. Over the line, the gap between them only 0.4 of a second. Kush Miney does indeed come into the pit lane. You saw the damaged car a moment ago. So Smollier in second place. Comes then now down to turn 3, sets the car up for the right-hander, flicks through, then it's left and right again, slaloming almost your way to the end of this downhill section through Virage du Camp. There is Smollier with chasing on behind him the championship leader, Victor Martins, eager to try to gain ground here. Through comes the second and third place battle. Now behind them fourth, Caio Collet, not really making progress against them. So these two having their own private battle, it seems. 51, Federico Malvestiti gaining ground with the pit stop for Kush Miney. He has got in turn Callan O'Keefe behind him in the FA Racing by DriveX car. Callan O'Keefe, the South African, comes onto the Mistral straight once again here. So Callan O'Keefe, experienced driver from earlier generations of Formula Renault, plus BLDC Formula 3, starts to make his move, goes to the outside line. He's raced LMP3 sports cars as well as Formula BMW, and also in the German ADAC Formula Masters Series, Callan O'Keefe, so he knows what he's doing. As for second and third, Smollier and Martins still run together. So the race leader up towards the completion of lap 8, Lorenzo Colombo just blitzing the opposition. Goes through, crosses the line, and Alexander Smollier hanging on to his second place as Colombo has done another fastest lap of the race. So Lorenzo Colombo now 2 minutes 0.821. Smollier is nearly 6 seconds back and 7/10 clear of Martins. Here, over the line, Oscar Piastri tries to make a move to gain another place. They run past the pits. He's up alongside 32, which is Frank Bird. Piastri into the top 10. Is he about to go 9th? Not necessarily, and Lorandi fights back on the inside line, so Frank Bird hangs onto his place. Leonardo Lorandi tries to get back into 10th, but gets run out wide over the curb. To the inside of him now goes João Vieira. Piastri fending them off. Great little battle this is, but Lorandi tried to go one up and he's gone one down, so that means that João Vieira goes ahead of him into 11th place. Down to 12th then is Leonardo Lorandi, and Oscar Piastri will now have another go at getting past Frank Bird. 13 minutes of the race to go. Through Saint-Baume they come now, and up onto the Mistral straight once again. So the race leaders clear by 5.9 seconds. Lorenzo Colombo. Piastri has another go on the outside of Bird. Not really the place you want to be for the chicane, but he's trying to force a mistake out of the Brit. Can't do it yet. Frank Bird now goes a little bit wider. This is where Piastri will hopefully have momentum. He does. Frank Bird runs him up towards the curb, but that's still the inside line for the next corner at Senior. So Oscar Piastri now has got the ideal line into the next right, makes the climb up the hill and has gone through even before the corner. Now up to the inside line, tries to come Javiera. Lorandi gets run out wide in the background. Look, way out wide all over the curbs goes the blue and white car of JD Motorsport driver Leonardo Lorandi, and he's wide and too long as through past Bird now goes Javiera. So 2 places lost by Frank Bird, and it could be a third in a minute because Lorandi is crawling all over the back of him as well. Up towards the end of the lap then they come. Frank Bird, or Frankie Bird as he was when he started in Ginetta Juniors, keeping at bay the car of Leonardo Lorandi. There is second and third. Alexander Smolja, double winner this year. Victor Martin, single race winner this year. And they are second and third behind Lorenzo Colombo. We're on lap number 10. 12 minutes to go. Yesterday with the safety car period we got 15 laps in. Remember, it's half an hour plus a lap, so it's 11 minutes plus the regulation lap at the end. So down towards turn 5 goes Martins. He's back on the power and now sprints on towards the right-hander of Saint-Baume. In the meantime, Hugo de Wilde, 6th, coming into this race at 7th in the championship, bearing in mind he won the first round. It's really unravelled since then. And there is Lorandi battling with Vieira, looking to try to gain ground. Vieira and Lorandi run side by side. Lorandi goes through. So Frank Bird has gained a place back, and has Vieira got problems because he's slowed down, look. Having lost places, he's also lost momentum. And what's happened to Martins? He's suddenly dropped back from Alexander Smolja as well. So Smolja there in second place, just for the moment shaking off, it seems, Victor Martins. They now make the run up to Senior, this being turn 10. And behind Victor Martins is Caio Collet. Sebastian Fernandez going through in 5th. 6th there, Hugo de Wilde, and he has got Amaury Cordial behind him. Now Cordial doing a much better job than yesterday, only got as far as turn 1, but the MP Motorsport car of the younger brother of Ghislain Cordial, who's another ex-Formula Renault Eurocup racer, the Belgian, goes through. Another man that's come from the F3 Asian Winter Series. He was the 2018 Spanish Formula 4 champion, was Amaury Cordial, and he's now hustling on behind the Belgian Hugo de Wilde to try to find a way past him. De Wilde just hanging onto the place then here, number 27, as he comes up towards the completion of the lap. Belgian kart champion from the age of 12 and runner-up to Caio Collet in French F4 last year was Hugo de Wilde. So the race leaders have gone over the timing line. There's de Wilde, there is Cordial behind him, and Colombo's advantage now 6.7 seconds. Oscar Piastri, 9th, next target Xavier Roeras. It's been a good recovery this by Piastri, but I'm sure he'd be the first to say that he shouldn't really have had to recover. And it makes you wonder what he could have done on pure pace had he started better, a lot better. And on turn 2 he comes now, the run down into turns 3, 4, 5 through Virage d'Hôtel, down to Virage du Camp. Up the curb goes 72, Xavier Roeras, with Piastri tucked up behind him. So the Australian, who races under a British licence, hence why when he won at Silverstone we had the British national anthem, much to his surprise. He comes towards the Mistral straight now, and as the cars straighten up, is Piastri near enough to think about making a move into the chicane? Kush Miney, by the way, after the pit stop for the new nose, 20th and down to 21st Petrovic after his bad start, never really got going in this race. Piastri does go through on the inside line, gets the car slowed down for the chicane. Job done, and so Oscar Piastri into 8th place now. The Australian for RHGP goes ahead of Roeras and will now pull away, no doubt, from the GRS car, as you see number 11 of Victor Martins having another go back at Smolja to see whether he can bring down that deficit once more. So through they turn. The gap is being reduced. Victor Martins is having another push, perhaps just conserving his tyres for a little bit, because if you run in the dirty air for too long, it affects your own balance and therefore asks more out of the rubber. Up towards the timing line they come. Past the pits goes the race leader, Lorenzo Colombo, in 2nd place through now. There you can see Alexander Smolyar, and then Victor Martins behind him in third place. Through they go, 0.496 of a second being the margin. Martins not near enough to have a go, admittedly, but he is fighting back. No question about that. Caio Coll at fourth. Also, he is the leading rookie at the moment from Hugo de Wilde and Amaury Cordial. Piastri 8th, Lloveras 9th, Frank Bird's back up to 10th. No, he's not. That's all changed because Lorandi is up to 10th again ahead of Vieira, and Frank Bird is down to 12th. So there's been another shuffle on that last lap through there, going over the line. Sorry, over the curve, I should say, is Smolyar. That's coming out of turn 5. And Victor Martins again has dropped away a little bit. So he pushes and closes, and then he falls back because he gets in the dirty air. Has to just take a breather, let everything cool down, let everything recover, let the aero work better again, and then he can play catch up. But getting a mistake out of Smolyar is not that easy. Up to the chicane they go. Brake, turn in. So Alexander Smolyar in second place, under attack. No question about that either, because the man on his tail, Victor Martins, has designs on that place. Can he do anything about him? Is he going to be able to make a move then before the end of the race? Let's see, as the cars now once again go up towards Toulon. There you've got number 11 then, so Victor Martins, the championship leader. Not suggesting he's not trying, but he certainly will be content to bank the points because he knows that it's one of those important championships, this, with lots of races. Ends in Abu Dhabi in October, where you've just got to keep on scoring, keep out of trouble, bank points wherever possible. 6 minutes plus a lap remain, and in fairness to Alexander Smolyar, he is doing a very good job here, hanging onto the place, not making mistakes, not putting a wheel wrong, and despite the fact that he's got Victor Martins behind him, he is not making any mistakes whatsoever. Up towards the timing line they come once more, so through goes Smolyar, and the gap that he's got over Martins, 0.4 of a second. Victor Martins tantalisingly close, but still he can't find a way through. Out of turn 2 they will turn now through that right-hander. Speed building on the run down again towards Virage d'Hôtel. So Smolyar looking as though, barring a mistake, he's going to be good for second place, because no matter what is tried here by Victor Martins, it seems that the Russian driver is able to stave him off. Up through the right at Saint-Baume they turn now, and then speed building up towards the Mistral straight. So 5 minutes to go plus 1 lap. Lorenzo Colombo it is that has the advantage by now 7.2 seconds. A huge margin, if you like, in a one-make category like this. And for second and third places, this battle, which has always been a tense one, has never really clicked. Victor Martins has always been there or thereabouts, but his number of attempts have been limited. And again, he rattles up the curve on the inside at the midpoint of the chicane Lord, trying to find a way by, but still, opportunity does not present itself. Nose to tail they run now, up towards the right-hander at Senior, and now Martins does start to get a bit more towy. Moves one side, then the other, feints to the right, then goes to the left, trying to make the car of Alexander Smolyar open the door for him. Into Toulon they come now, through that long right-hander that seems to go on forever. And 2/3 of the way round, you tighten it, find the clipping point, and blast up towards the next left of Bendor. So Martins having another go. Can he get onto terms with the man ahead of him? Together they run up now to the approach to Courbe to Galabin, and then onto Virage du Lac right here. That in turn brings you to Virage du Pont up towards the timing line, and all over the road is Smolyar because he's on the limit, trying to make sure that he fends off the challenge of Martins. A little dot in the distance is the leader, just going over the brow. That's Lorenzo Colombo. He's got 3.5 minutes plus a lap still to go. Smolyar goes through. Behind him is Victor Martins, and the gap is now 0.4 of a second between them. That last lap for Colombo was the best of the race, so just blitzing everybody from the front here, Colombo. It's been his weekend. He's just stamped his authority on it across both qualifyings, both races. Third pole of the season this morning, a second win of the season beckons. So there for second and third places, Smolyar goes now down towards turn 3, still chased hard by Victor Martins. Out of turn 5 goes the Frenchman. Look back, 4th, Caio Coll. They're in 5th, going pretty well. Sebastian Fernandez, one of his best showings of the season. 6th is Hugo de Wilde, who's fended off Amaury Cordial, but Oscar Piastri in 8th place would like a top 6 finish if he can get one. He can certainly get onto the back of Cordial, I would have thought, before the end of this race. So Cordial 7th, and the margin 1.4 seconds. Piastri hustling along, second on the grid, so he's got better pace than these if you take qualifying as the guide. Up towards the chicane nord comes Hugo de Wilde. So there's going to be time for one more lap, plus the regulation lap, isn't there, at the end of this? 2 more laps to go, potentially. An incident involving 61, which is Brad Benavides, and 64, his teammate, Callan O'Keefe, is going to be investigated after the race. There through Hugo de Wilde, under attack from Amaury Cordial, and because he's got a bit stuck, so Oscar Piastri is closing onto the back of them as well. So the gaps are being reduced here as they turn up towards Bend d'Or. Hugo de Wilde would be, I think, pretty content with the top 6. Not ecstatic, but content after the last few weekends in the championship. And Oscar Piastri is going to try and wrestle 7th away from Amaury Cordial now, because nose to tail those 2 cars run. Heading towards Virage du Lac once again. Piastri under the rear wing virtually there. A little twitch out of Cordial's car. Does that mean that it's going to be unsettled for the Virage du Pont? Well, Piastri takes a wide line in and tries to get a good run out of the corner. Up the curb goes Cordial. Slight little bit of momentum lost. Piastri in the wheel tracks now. Up towards the timing line they come. Past the pits, the Australian goes to the outside line. Is this his chance to make a move? Let's see. Levels with Cordial and does go through, takes 7th place going into turn 1. So the clock will hit 0 on this lap, so there'll be 1 more to go at the end of this, the regulation lap, as we've got Piastri up into 7th position. And to the outside line, Amaury Cordial fights back down towards turn 3. Can't do it. Piastri, in theory, seeing that he was so much quicker in qualifying, now that he's got the place, should be able to stay there without too much drama, I would have thought, but Amaury Cordial inevitably will try and fight back instantly, see whether he can get in the mirrors of Piastri, force a mistake out of him. So it's going to be 1 more lap to go at the end of this. Can Piastri then make up another place? He was the best part of a second back on Hugo de Wilde. Victor Martins, by the look of it, he's having to settle for 3rd place here. He can't do anything about the car of Alexander Smolya just up the road ahead of him. There is number 11, so Victor Martins goes through in 3rd place. And it's going to have to be, I'm afraid, one of those races where you think points, bank the points. They're all going to be useful in the championship as he turns now on to Toulon and then towards Bend d'Or. So as far as the championship leader is concerned, it'll be a decent haul of points. Lorenzo Colombo came into this race 4th in the championship. He's on target for a win. Alexander Smolya 3rd, and he's on target for 2nd. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out post-race, and that's going to be in a lapse time because Lorenzo Colombo is about to go through onto the last lap of the race. Over the timing line, he's now gone. And there, for the last time into turn 1, goes Lorenzo Colombo. Behind him, chasing, is Alexander Smolya, and Victor Martins is 3rd as the cars now brake and go into the left and right flicks of turns 1 and 2. 4th gear corner is turn 1. Flick right at 2, and then down towards the Virage d'Hotel. But Lorenzo Colombo there, having done the fastest lap of the race, just over the 2-minute mark. We got into the 1:59s in qualifying, but it was a bit cooler, of course, first thing this morning. He's on target for a 2nd victory of not only the weekend, but of the season, and a great drive too it has been. So flat out along the Mistral straight. Absolute best just done in the first sector, can you believe? So even on the last lap, he's still pushing. It's perhaps the best way to keep himself focused, isn't it? Thinking about doing qualifying style laps here. So Lorenzo Colombo goes through the chicane. Can he get below the 2-minute mark on the last lap to do the fastest lap of the race? He's about to get to the end of the middle sector that comes on the approach to Senior. There goes Smolya and Martins. It's a personal best in the middle sector by that man there, Lorenzo Colombo. And let's see what the lap time is going to be. He's only got really 4 corners to go now as he moves his way through Toulon. Through that long right. Tightens now. Move him across. Gets the apex for the corner. Now sets up for Bend d'Or. On towards the Courbe de Galabin. Goes through Galabin now. And that in turn brings him towards the Virage du Lac left and the right of Virage du Pont, and it's going to be win number 2 of the weekend and of the season in Formula Renault Eurocup for Lorenzo Colombo. Then the Italian driver accelerates his way up towards the timing line, and it's 2 out of 2 at Paul Ricard for Lorenzo Colombo, who comes across the line to win the 2nd race of the weekend. And the lap time of 2 minutes 0.107, still the best of the race, but not quite below 2 minutes. Alexander Smolyar then takes second, and third goes the way of erstwhile championship leader Victor Martins, fourth to Caio Collet, and then fifth is going to be Sebastian Fernandez, but drama at the last corner involving Hugo de Wilde and others up towards the line. I think Piastri was involved in that as well. Piastri will take sixth on the line. De Wilde caught up in it, drops to eighth. Amaury Cordeel goes seventh, so Piastri sixth after his awful start, seventh Cordeel, eighth De Wilde, ninth Lloveras, 10th Javiera from Lorandi. That was how they ran on the last lap. 12th Frank Bird, 13th Callan O'Keefe, and 14th should be Patrick Pasma, who's been again a little bit anonymous this weekend, but you can't say that of this man. A great effort put in by Lorenzo Colombo, and he is victorious by 8.8 seconds in the end from Alexander Smolyar. Third going the way of Victor Martins, with Caio Collet, Sebastian Fernandez and Oscar Piastri rounding out the top six, and the rookie competition won by Caio Collet, as indeed it was in the equivalent race yesterday. So a very good drive by Lorenzo Colombo. He has really been dominant all weekend and comes through for another win. So with a couple of investigations to sort out, we in the end lost Petr Potacek and Kushmaini. Not quite sure why Maini pitted, other than possibly thinking, well, I can't get any points, there's no point just driving round and round and round. We couldn't keep these tyres for another day. But the man of the moment, no question. Lorenzo Colombo wins at the Circuit Paul Ricard by nearly 9 seconds from Alexander Smolyar, with Victor Martins taking third, Caio Collet fourth ahead of Sebastian Fernandez and Oscar Piastri sixth, Amaury Cordeel seventh from Hugo de Wilde, and then Xavier Lloveras in ninth with Javiera 10th. Leonardo Lorandi up for the back of the grid to 11th ahead of Frank Bird and Callan O'Keefe. Patrick Pasma 14th from Patrick Schott, and Lucas Aleko-Roy 16th. Federico Malvestiti fending off Brad Benavides and Alessio De Leda. So Petr Potacek and Kushmaini not getting to the checkered flag. They ended up in the pit lane. But Lorenzo Colombo will come to the pits himself very shortly as a race winner, go to the Parc Fermé area and then be whisked up to the podium at the end of our final Formula Renault activity of the weekend here at Paul Ricard, and a second win of the weekend for the very impressive Lorenzo Colombo. So this is going to make the championship even more intriguing. So much of it, of course, does come down to qualifying, getting the right moment to do that qualifying run. They're pretty intense 20-minute short, sharp sessions, so there wasn't a huge amount of time to hang about this morning, but a good effort done by Lorenzo Colombo to get himself onto pole position, and Oscar Piastri still kicking himself, no doubt, for that duff start. So there, looking down the pit straight, under the Blancpain gantry down towards turn one, with the score tower on the right, the pit complex refurbished again for last year at the far end. See the little commentary cabins on top of the new media centre, and the drivers for Formula Renault will be not far from there shortly when they've made their way up to the podium. But Lorenzo Colombo it is that celebrates a win by 8.8 seconds and the fastest lap, and all of that coming from pole position, just no stopping him. Alexander Smolyar second, Victor Martins third, they'll be on the podium, so too the rookie class winner Caio Collet. So the drivers very shortly to Parc Fermé. Caio Collet, Victor Martins already there, and there is Lorenzo Colombo. It's been a slow in-lap, as often is the case, to try and make sure you have as much pickup as you can to help the weight of the car. Steering wheel back on, and Lorenzo clambers through the halo device, celebrates a second win for the MP Motorsport team, and you can see how much that means to him. The team equally delighted, and Lorenzo thanks in style his mechanics. So he'll jump off the car and celebrate win number 2 of the weekend. An excellent job for the Dutch team, MP Motorsport, that was created back in 1995. This squad operated by Sander Dorschman. Had a link for a number of years, you might remember, with Manor Motorsport. It was for a time John Booth's team, and then been in Formula 2 and Formula 3, concentrating again on Formula Renault now. And last year they took Christian Lundgaard to the rookie title, but want an overall title. And MP Motorsport getting better and better all the time. To Martins there. Another of the MP Motorsport drivers goes to thank the team. So a 1-3 for MP, and our ace, the French team, taking second place thanks to Alexander Smalia. So the drivers go to the weight check area and then up towards the podium. You see the Hankook tyres with the stones, with the pickup, with the rubber upon them. And there, number 12, Lorenzo Colombo's car, the nose of which has never been headed in the 2 races this weekend. A mighty effort by Lorenzo. And he will make his way shortly up to the podium. So, Lorenzo Colombo, our race winner. Let's hear his thoughts on a great weekend. He's with our reporter, Dakota.
Total domination from you this weekend, Lorenzo. You must be so delighted. You've got to keep up this pace for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, I would like to race here more times because yeah, we had the perfect weekend. The car was amazing, all the laps I did, and I was still improving during the race. So I feel really grateful to the team. We made hard work during this pre-season test, and here the results come. So keep working like this. The car is really great. I think we can still improve something for the next rounds, and we are getting there.
Still got more to go?
Yeah, I think so. Like a couple of tenths might be, we need to search a little bit, but yeah, I think during this weekend we had much more pace than a race, especially in the race, and that's really good for the team. And today, the perfect weekend that I did, pole position and first in every race, so really, really grateful to myself and to the team.
Congratulations, thank you very much.
So there's not much that he's done wrong this weekend, is there? Lorenzo Colombo then heading shortly up to the podium, where Alexander Smalia, Victor Martins and Caio Collet will join him with the investigation of an incident between Benavides and O'Keefe at turn 15, which is what the last corner of Virage Dupont to come post-race. So the drivers being rounded up as they are. Let's look at the highlights of that second race of the weekend that began with Lorenzo Colombo on pole. Didn't really begin very well for Oscar Piastri, nor Petr Potacek. Potacek staggered away last. Piastri fell into the body of the field and spent the rest of the race battling back up to 6th place, and his recovery was one of the highlights as the cars worked their way for the first time up towards the chicane on the Mistral Straight, a place where you could gain ground. 1 or 2 getting a bit sideways up towards the end of the opening lap. Ugo de Wilde pushing on, trying to go and get up onto terms with Kushmaini, who eventually ran wide and damaged his wing. De Wilde was able to fend off a challenge from Sebastian Fernandez, but not for long, because in the end Fernandez got through and went up to 5th place. Benavides and O'Keefe busy squabbling. They got involved with Leonardo Lorandi, who was also working his way up from the back of the grid after a wheel fell off in qualifying. Victor Martins did level with Alexander Smalia for 2nd place once, but couldn't really make that work. Also being forced out wide by Piastri was Lorandi. Piastri uncompromising as he came through the pack. João Vieira was another man on a mission. Piastri getting past Xavier Loveras going into the chicane, moving himself forward into the top 6 all the time. Victor Martins sat behind Smalia for the whole race, trying to force a mistake, just never came. Piastri got ahead of Amaury Cordial, and the next target then was Ugo de Wilde, and all that was resolved really at the last corner. It was far more serene as far as the race leader was concerned. Lorenzo Colombo celebrating as he powered up towards the checkered flag to score win number 2 of the weekend from Alexander Smalia, Victor Martins, Caio Collet and Sebastian Fernandez. Oscar Piastri taking 6th on the last corner of the last lap. So another Grand Prix circuit ticked off for Formula Renault Eurocup. More to come because Spa is on the calendar. Of course, Abu Dhabi is where it finishes at the end of the year. They go to Hockenheim as well. And they've already been to Monza and Silverstone as well as Monaco. Lorenzo Colombo then the race winner, just to confirm the way they came across the line. Alexander Smalia in 2nd place, Victor Martins 3rd, Caio Collet 4th, ahead of Sebastian Fernandez, and then Oscar Piastri in 6th. Amaury Cordial 7th, Ugo de Wilde mugged to 8th at the end, ahead of Xavier Loveras and João Vieira. 11th, Leonardo Lorandi, up from 21st on the grid, ahead of Frank Bird and Callum O'Keefe. Patrick Pasma 14th, and Patrick Schott coming home 15th, the Swiss driver from Lucas Aleco Roy. Then Federico Malvestiti with Brad Benavides 18th, Alessio De Leda next, and the two that never got to the end, hitting a lap from home, Petr Katacek and Kush Maini. So the podium is being made ready, and the drivers being called forward very shortly for the final presentation of the weekend. And the third place driver, Victor Martins, one of the two Renault Sport Academy drivers that will be on the podium, because also we will have Kayo Collet as the rookie winner. Alexander Smalia, however, for second place, steps forward. And for the second time this weekend, the top step of the podium will go the way of Lorenzo Colombo. It's a very, very happy Italian driver there that makes his way to the top step. And for the winning driver, the national anthem will now be played. Kayo Collet, as the winning rookie, comes to the podium, and we'll also have MP Motorsport's representative as well. So for Lorenzo Colombo then, the Italian national anthem, and now you saw also running onto the podium during that, Kayo Collet. So we have the winning rookie, and now the trophies are presented. Stéphane Claire, the CEO of Circuit Paul Ricard, steps forward to present to Victor Martins for his third place. Then for the second place driver, the Russian Alexander Smalia, the trophy is presented by Renault Sport, and Lorenzo Colombo awaits his turn on the top step of the podium. But the MP Motorsport team, a great weekend, and there is the trophy to the winner. Lorenzo Colombo, very happy indeed. Not a cloud in the sky today nor yesterday, be it meteorologically or in any other sense you care, for a man that's dominated the race wins. And there, courtesy of Hankook, the trophy presented to Kayo Collet. Scores victory in the rookie classification as the team's award as well. MP Motorsport having mopped up in terms of 2 wins and a 1-3 here. There's the trophy from Renault Sport to Sander Dorschmann's team. Another one for the trophy cabinet back home. And then for the drivers, if they are feeling in the mood, the champagne is ready for them at the end of race 2 of the weekend here at Circuit Paul Ricard in the Formula Renault Eurocup. It's a second win for Lorenzo Colombo, and a very happy driver indeed, as the champagne is now prepared and the final celebrations of the weekend are underway. Lorenzo Colombo, very much the man of the moment in Formula Renault this weekend. A great performance by the Italian driver. Lorenzo Colombo wins 2 out of 2 here at Paul Ricard in Formula Renault Eurocup. It's goodbye from Paul Ricard. We'll see you next time. From David Addison, bye-bye.
Moi j'accorde ma balle.